Our guest for today is Mr. Raghu Ravinutala, the CEO and co-founder of Yellow.ai. Yellow.ai is the biggest 360-degree customer experience automation platform adopted by 700 plus global enterprises. Originally an engineer, Raghu was bitten by entrepreneurship bug, which is when he built Yellow.ai in 2016. Recently, Yellow.ai raised 78 million USD in its Series C funding, bringing the total funding to 102 million USD. Since its Series B funding, Yellow.ai has grown 470% in recurring revenue and bringing automation to the 1.3 trillion support sector. So, let's deep dive into the journey of this digipreneur. Hi Raghu, welcome to Digital Dialogue, where I interact with leaders like you to understand your journeys about your company and the customer problems that you are trying to solve, your take on the tech, consumer behavior, and a bit of you as a person. In process, we get inspired in next 20 minutes, 20 odd minutes. So great to get you on the show.
Great to be here, Prasad. Thanks a lot for the invite. So it's been great knowing you and looking forward to the discussion.
Yeah. I think you know what, very interesting. As all of us do, I was checking your LinkedIn profile and I realized that you are a BTech in EC. I think we used to
That's
call it
right.
EC and Electronics and Communication
That is correct.
Engineering,
Yeah.
right? And even I had done my BTech in EC, and it reminded me of those semiconductor labs. It also reminds me of Moore's law. I suppose it is the number of transactions on a microchip doubles about every 2 years, but the cost reduces to half.
That is
Okay, so from designing the chips, I think we used to call it wafers, and making sure that Moore's law happens, to building the world's leading conversational CX platform. How has been your journey, and what are the important milestones?
Um, the journey building semiconductors was amazing. The first place that where I worked, I think that determines a lot in everyone's life. I believe. So I was at Texas Instruments and right out of college, and really learned how to build world class products while at the company. So that was the first milestone. And while there, I started the next company that I joined was a startup at that time called Magma Design Automation, where it was a company that was going against behemoths, and I had a first eye view on how a startup can go and beat several large companies, which was pretty instrumental in how I went about my startup when I started the company. But I think the pivotal moment when I took the plunge and started on my own was when I saw the problem of customer support and customer and enterprise interactions. While personal interactions were amazing on WhatsApp, so it looked like the future of the world and consumer enterprise communication would happen on messaging and voice. And AI was kind of brewing at the same time, where it made it possible for enterprises to automate those interactions with consumers, and that looked like a fantastic opportunity. So then I started the company.
Very interesting here. When I suppose the early exposure into being a challenger in a and trying to challenge to a biggie one, probably that could be a great seed as an entrepreneurial journey. A very interesting one, and the problem that you are trying to solve, as you rightly said, is also, I think we're going to talk about it a bit later too. But you mentioned about there is a one or twice you talk about AI and artificial intelligence, and on a lighter note, for every complex business problem thrown to corporate world, the first answer can be we will or we are using AI ML to solve this. But if I go back to 1950s when Alan Turing talked about the Turing tests, and fast forward to present day, how has the tech and humans, the reaction to the AI ML and dependency, evolved when it comes to AI over the last few years? Because you are in the thick of all those things, you have seen it, and you're trying to solve the problem using all those technologies. So really want to know how you see the journey has been from, I'm just saying, 1950s to now. Probably things have changed a huge in last few years maybe. Want to
Yeah,
hear more about
things
it.
have changed a lot in the last few years, but I think that a lot of AI research has been consistently happening from 1950s till this point of time. And a lot of progress has not just been made in the last 5 years, but a lot of progress has been made over multiple several years. In fact, I think some of the first AI based systems were available as early as 1980s and 1990s. I think there were these supercomputers that were actually playing chess, and you always seen that news of computers playing chess and sometimes even winning against some of the leading chess players, right? But I think what changed over the last 5 6 years is AI essentially got more democratized. What I mean by that is that earlier these algorithms were needed a very large machines to run, or the processing power that is required to run these machines was only available in really large machines. And in some way now Moore's law is connected to this as well, right? Is the processing power has been miniaturized because of the consistently evolving Moore's law. And a lot of the AI technology also started to be open sourced, right? Google open sourced TensorFlow in 2015. So, which meant that with the technology open sourced, with cloud being ubiquitous and a high processing power available at cheaper cost, now AI is has the ability to be deployed so widely without huge investments and with a lot of ease. So that is making AI available for every single enterprise to deploy it for the customers and automation within the company.
That's a very interesting one. The huge processing power and, as you rightly said, open source, making it very easy for us to probably leapfrog the artificial intelligence and machine learning abilities. But it really got me thinking, because this was not what I was thinking about. Is that, but with I suppose quantum computing with actually is going to take, I don't know how many times, multiple times processing power. So what's your take on it? Will it, how the world would be with, let's say, quantum computing coming in and AI getting evolved so much? Do you, if you are really asked you to sort of peek into future, what is it that you would probably see?
Yeah, I think we are. If there is one line of direction, how technology evolves, it is essentially making computers or technology as closer to human beings as possible. I think that's the line of sight for everyone, right? So, which means that I think having the ability for having a vision, having the ability to derive emotions, having the ability. To even do cognitively intensive tasks like negotiating, etc. So I think the things are moving in that direction. And if you can see, right, I think Facebook renamed the company to Meta, and it's where I think there's a virtual world and the real world coexist, right? And for those technologies to really happen, I think a lot of advancements in AI and quantum computing, all of these come together to happen to make those make that future happen, where it's very tough to distinguish an interaction from a virtual world to a real world, because the front end interface of the technology is becoming more and more human like, while retaining the backend edge, where the ability to assimilate lots and lots of data by machines is retained, while getting closer to humans in terms of interaction. I think that's the direction that technology, including AI and quantum computing, is evolving.
Yeah, it's very, I don't know, it is exciting. At the same time, it is scary too. But want to know more about Yellow.ai. Okay, what's the problem that it is solving? What is it that, how you have grown, more about it, because I think the people who are listening to it really want to know what is it that Yellow.ai does. Okay, what's the problem that it is solving? So something about that, Raghu, and I'm quite sure you're so passionate about it. I mean, and give it us to all that information, and it will be really great.
Yeah, I think as the company was started with the problem that I was facing, getting my telephone line repaired by the telecom provider. The sole objective of the company is to improve and elevate customer experience across every single interaction customer has with the company using artificial intelligence. So right now, we definitely see a lot of customer experience provided by brands is broken, and then brands are potentially not responding immediately. Brands are not remembering the preferences and requirements of the consumers. So kind of make all these interactions more impactful, meaningful for the end consumer by using natural language processing and artificial intelligence. I think that's what the company is focused on.
Very interesting. I think sometime back I was talking to someone, and for Jan now, okay, wherein they want everything now, know now, shop now, flaunt now. That is the experience probably, we are trying to generate there with artificial intelligence. Any specific use case probably which is close to your heart, and you make a brand really enhancing the customer experience? Would really love to know about it.
Absolutely. I can take two specific examples. One, Domino's India. So they have replaced their entire customer support. If you call their telephone number or if you chat on their website, they have completely revamped the process of providing customer support through automation, followed by humans. And they are seeing about 60% ramp up in the efficiency that they are seeing in terms of the existing agents serving their end customers, with tremendous improvement in customer experience. And these kind of volumes that they are automating in terms of the interactions is kind of unprecedented and phenomenal. The second brand I would like to talk about is Sephora. So when the pandemic struck, Sephora, as you know, is a company that really believes in personalized experience for their end consumers. Consumers come, look and feel the products, talk to the beauty assistants, and make decisions. But when they were not able to visit the stores, they wanted to provide that experience digitally as well. So they enabled WhatsApp as a medium for end consumers to interact with Sephora, find products based on their specific needs of hair, skin requirements, and the products are surfaced based on these needs, and they are recommended to the end users. But to also provide the experience that they are seeing, they essentially have in the offline stores, where you're looking at products and then a beauty assistant comes in and helps them with the right product. So they have connected the system to their beauty experts that can jump in into those conversations and help them make the right choice. And they have been successfully able to create a completely new channel with AI-led and human-supported experience for buying products and getting support on them. So these are two examples that I can think of that really saw tremendous adoption over the last year post-COVID.
Very interesting. Two different, one is looking for a scale, and another scale at a personalized level. And two big brands. I'm quite sure next time when I'm going to order on Domino's, it will definitely remind me of Yellow.ai. Okay, so coming back, very interesting, sort of and talking about technologies, and we also talk about the service and the product that you're working on. But while the speed of innovations and technologies are so rapid, what was impossible probably last evening is possible now, today morning. Okay, and as an entrepreneur, okay, in the tech space, that too, okay, which is changing so rapidly, how do you manage such changes? And is it scary? Is it opportunity? Really, change is so fast, and you are in midst of that technology. Okay, so how do you look at that?
So clearly, I think technology, when you start hearing about technology, let's say you talk about metaverse, you talk about crypto. I think the technology. I think we as entrepreneurs and kind of looking at the cutting edge of technology when it's just starting to enter the minds of people, have a great opportunity to build something around these technologies by the time they actually become mainstream, right? So all these technologies have a lead time before they become ubiquitous, during which there are opportunities where these technologies enable entrepreneurs to build applications and be a part of making them mainstream as well. So that is how, at least I and we as a company see every single technology is. We are very optimistic about technology, that every technology has at some point of time a potential to make life better and make an impact. And the faster we embrace these technologies and try to figure out opportunities that can enhance how we function as a company, I think that's where lies tremendous potential, in my opinion, Prasad.
Very interesting. I think last time when we were discussing also, we talked about the speed at which the technology evolving, and the adoption of that from the corporate. Okay, there's a gap, and
Yes.
that gap is the place where entrepreneurs play that arbitrage, I suppose. But very interesting to see how you look at those changes and the rapid changes that happen. Now, coming about some lighter things in life. Last time when I was discussing, and the favorite movie that you talked about is Dil Chahta Hai. Okay, so among those three college graduate friend characters, I think Amir, Saif, and Akshay. I think Akash,
Yeah.
Samir, and Sid. Right? Who do you resonate more, and who you look yourself into that character, and why?
I think that's a tough question. I don't know which one is close by, but if I were to choose, I would choose Amir Khan's character. I think he brought the people together, and at least I would aspire to be as much fun loving as him. But I think when the time comes, he makes the move to get his girl. So I would think that I would be closer to Amir than the rest.
Yeah, what a lovely movie. I mean, I think every time I see that movie, I feel like going to Goa along with my friends. Okay,
Absolutely.
so
And in that
absolute, absolute fantastic.
Mercedes open top car, right? I think, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I saw that movie just out of college and absolutely felt it was amazing. I think most of the people I do talk to as well really have this opinion that, yeah, I mean, they dream of going to vacations like that. So that's true. I absolutely love that movie.
good. Get to know, good to know that like all of us, though probably in our busy schedule, we have our favorite movies, and do some funny, great stuff that way, right? One last probably question, okay, is that if you had a time machine and if you have to go back and advise to 20 you of yourself, what would that be?
I think the biggest advice, I mean, frankly speaking, whether it's tech or not, but I mean, the biggest advice I would kind of give is, I think I would have started being fit and like really working out early in the journey, right? I think I feel that that's pretty important. But overall, I think keeping the mind open and trying to experiment and start taking risks early in your career. I think I would have told myself that don't overthink about risk.
Wow, what a great thing. I mean, really well said, Iker, because during those years when there's so much of passion and so much of energy, I think one thing all of us sort of ignore is the health part of it. Okay, I'm quite sure there are many nights that you have kept awake working on that special projects that you have, and over the years that you realize is that some damages get happen. But very true. Those who are listening, I think take care, and if you are early in your age, make sure that you take care of your health, because that will help. Your health is great, you can do a lot of great stuff later on. But Another one is being open and taking risk early age, something which is very great. So Raghu, thank you very much. It's such a privilege and happy to talk about in the morning today here about your views on technology, changing behavior of consumers, how you are helping, your journey, the movie that you like, your advice. I think we had promised everyone this 20 minutes are going to be inspirational, and quite sure we have delivered it. Those who are listening, Yellow.ai, go have a look at it, what they do. There are certain business problems probably related to customer experience that you want to solve. Feel free to get in touch with you. Thank you very much. Thanks again for joining in and listening, all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prasad. Privileged being here as well. So thank you, and goodbye, everyone.